Hello, John.
Hi.
Thank you for being at Floating Nifty Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I'm actually really excited that you are here.
Cool.
And I'm not just saying it because you are here. I'm saying it because how long have you been drinking tea with us?
How long has it been? 4 years?
4 years.
4 years, yeah.
The more I know about you, the more I really appreciate you as a tea drinker. You care to know why?
Yeah, please.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Don't tell him.
Yeah, careful with the ego here.
Because you will listen to our podcast, or when we go on live, you'll go on there, or when you come here before the COVID time, you'll come in and drink tea with us. And you always pay attention to a couple of things that we talk about in tea, and you are very curious, and you will go home and practice and try to figure out what we were talking about, and you will come back with some questions. And I really appreciate that, because I feel like, well, at least I kind of feel like I can imagine the teas and your relationship together at home, rather than, because a lot of times when we sell the teas, I hope people are really having a good time with the teas, but I have no idea, right? At least the relationship part of it. And you always come back to tell it in a way for me to see the relationship with you and the tea. Yeah. Very good student.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you.
Sorry,
Wow.
I put myself as a teacher. So maybe today we should put the episode into that way then. Do you have anything that you feel like, well, I am working on it, either what you are working on in tea, or you feel like I couldn't figure out what you were talking about, and I'm very curious. Either one of those. And
Yeah.
we can do that.
Yeah. Well, I was in, for context, I was in here last week.
Yeah.
And we were talking about openness of the tea, opening the tea.
Yeah.
And Noah said something that I felt like was interesting. That we were talking about, I don't remember how we were talking about this, but we were talking about, you were saying sometimes a kid can brew tea really well because they can open the tea.
Yeah.
And Noah was like, yeah, no, you can, it could be really bitter. It could be really, all sorts of things that seem kind of negative to me. But he said, but as long as it's open, that's the most important thing.
Yes.
And I was like, what? Like, what the heck? How is that possible that it could be, all these kind of things that didn't sound like good characteristics. But if it's open, like, that's, good, or,
Like possibly somehow rough.
Sure.
Or not, like, essentially, like, not smooth.
Right.
Or not necessarily sweet.
Yeah.
Right? Not only sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Can all be not necessarily good things or bad things, but not the most important thing is if it's closed, it doesn't matter how sweet it tastes.
Right.
It's really boring.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of like, no, what do you mean by that? And he was like, just go home
Hold your
and think
horses.
about it, and then we'll talk about it on the podcast. So
Cool.
I was trying to think about it this last week.
Yeah. Excellent.
And you've been brewing the charcoal dong ding this last
And I had a
week.
good week with the charcoal dong ding. Yeah, really good week.
Want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a big tea. And I feel like it kind of was, I had talked last week about how my focus has been really bad, kind of out of focus.
Yeah.
Kind of not paying attention to, the tea, or kind of sitting there and doing it and being like, you need to practice. You're supposed to be practicing.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be focused. How come you're not focused?
Yeah.
And kind of obsessing about that and not really even kind of listening to the tea.
Oh.
And I felt like this week the charcoal dong ding is just like, you can't not focus on it. I mean, it's so like there's so much going on in there that it's like, even if my mind kind of drifted away, it was like, whoa, like there's a lot going on. Like even well after the sip, the last cup of it, I'm still sitting there like, oh man, there's like stuff going on.
Awesome.
all over.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
I'm glad you have a good week.
yeah, and I was thinking about the openness thing. And the other nice thing about the charcoal dongding for me last week was that it was super different every day, like just dramatically different. So the first day it felt kind of like there's something kind of like, you know, I'm not sure if it was like, you know, I just wasn't ready for it or what was going on, but it did feel like maybe what I experienced on Monday was just sort of that it was closed or that I wasn't able to like
make it open.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But then on Wednesday when I had it again, it was like, yeah.
For me, those moments that when a tea, either what we call it open or give us a exceptional exception, I call them, they are like glimpse of moments that is super beautiful and exciting. And for me, it's like, how do we repeat those moments? My goal is not to repeat the same experiences all the time, because that kind of is boring too. But since you can see the tea, either they're big or they're beautiful or they're fantastic, I want to repeat the experiences. And I think that's where practice is. Our practice is needed, because obviously we both have the experience that sometimes the same tea didn't taste really good, and that doesn't feel good either, because it's kind of wasteful. So since you have wonderful experience with our charcoal dongding this past week, maybe I will just move it into a different tea, aged dongding, that you came back and tell me you can feel that tea in your body, and that's the first time you can feel a tea in your body. I chose this tea for today is also because I personally feel aged tea is not easy to open.
Okay.
And so let's see if we can kick in some practice or technique in there, and you can work with it at home.
Okay.
And also to let you experience possibly some tea is shut down. And with the same tea, maybe today, let me see if I can make it open in a same session. Not promising anything.
Cool. I haven't had this since then.
So for you, I brought in the aged dongding for you.
Yeah, I guess it's been, a year and a half now since I've had this.
Oh, really?
And I only had like an ounce of it.
Oh yeah, because we sent you some. It was like totally locked down. You are not coming to the store, and then
This was post-COVID for me, because I had had COVID. That was the reason why you sent it to me, was like a feel better.
And also to let you experience something. You say you can taste and smell very good, but if you can feel the movement and energy, there might be a different way to feel tea too, you know?
Yeah, I had asked Noah, I didn't have any taste or smell going for that whole week, and I emailed him and I was kind of like, Noah, like, is there any way that I can like use this as a learning experience in some way? And you know,
because you wanted to taste something
I wanted
that
to see
wasn't focused on the aroma, basically, right?
Well, because I had already been sort of like trying to figure out what the heck are they talking about with this throat sensation, like what do they even mean by that? And so I was like, oh well, maybe if I'm not distracted by the taste and the smell, maybe I'll be able to get it. Well, Noah's answer was more kind of like, you know, they're so, you know, the smell and the taste and the feeling is also kind of intertwined that, you know, it might be a challenge to try to, you know, single out one kind of facet of the tea rather than kind of trying to experience it as a whole. So I ended up just putting pause on the tea for the last few days of my COVID quarantine. Now when I came back, I had the aged dongding waiting for me at home, and then it was, the rest is history.
All right. Can I have your cup?
Yeah.
And I thought I was crazy when I felt it. I felt the movement. I was like, no way. This is placebo. I'm just like, because like I want to believe that it's real so bad that I'm just tricking myself. And so I ended up doing a comparison, a comparative tasting. I did this tea and what was it? I think it was like the Oriental Beauty or something, kind of side by side, just to like see like, you know, am I crazy? Is this real? And it was. Like, it totally did a different thing, the one and the other. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Cool.
Wow. Well, I'm so happy the tea did something to you. That's our goal. The tea do something. I actually haven't drank this aged dongding for a long time.
Okay.
I took it home, and so I haven't drank it for a long time.
I was doing some roasting over there.
So there'll be some crunchy baked sounds. We're doing double work today in our recording. We're recording a podcast, and then Noah is at the same time roasting some 红水, dongding 红水 oolong tea. But anyway, so last week I thought, well, I should try this tea before I drink it with you.
Sorry. Get some nice ambient roasting
Music.
sounds going on.
Yeah, roasting is really pretty sounding. There you go. Well done.
So I would say just remember the texture, remember the movement, and then I'm going to do a different method after this. Here you go.
Thank you.
Actually, not bad.
Yeah.
Shoot, the tea is playing with me today.
I don't know if you're going to get your not open versus open.
I get the right tea, right? Did I?
Yeah, that's the right tea. It's so great. It smells like vanilla. It's like so sweet and fragrant right now. It's not what I was expecting for aged tea.
Interesting. Is this even the right tea?
It's the right tea for sure. Yeah.
It's definitely the right tea. Wow. Oh.
The scent is there though,
Yeah.
but not a lot of movement in a mouth. I would say. What do you gentlemen think?
I think it's the first infusion of the tea, so it's still opening up. Yeah, but the scent is really,
Really pretty.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I have never seen this tea pretty before.
Yeah, I definitely remember the medicinal kind of
Yeah,
niceness of it, but yeah, there was something very sweet at the end there. I was like,
yeah. Today the
It's not very sour either, you know.
No,
usually,
not at all.
usually aged tea
normally
can
it's
be.
really sour. Yeah.
Did you ever have that experience with this one when you were brewing it before? I forgot that you only had. I thought that you had more of it. You only had an ounce of it at that.
Yeah, I only had. I
I
only
forgot
had
the whole
maybe
story behind
3 or
that.
4 sessions with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you remember it being sour like that?
So what happened is, I don't know if you noticed that I didn't warm up the pot.
Oh, I didn't notice. Did not notice.
I on purposely not to warm up the pot. Yeah.
I was busy making crinkling sounds, so I didn't notice either.
I guess I was busy watching Noah do the crinkling.
Sound effects.
And was that you were trying to not open it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe
Maybe it's a better method.
it's like I would just open it myself.
Maybe we should stop heating up the pot.
Maybe you should pour some cold water in there.
Ice, cold brew. Let's do cold brew with this tea.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah, anything.
Oh,
Just
totally anything.
What made you guys feel like this is opening based on this first brew? Like you both were kind of like, oh man. And I guess I was too, but I'm curious if you can describe, either of you, like kind of what, what's tipping you off right now to how it's like opening?
What? Excellent question. I would say it's very surprising because the scent itself, I feel, is open. And then maybe this infusion, we can work on the scent. But you remember I said, but the body is not doing much for me. So the body is actually not much opening to me. And it kind of entered the body, the tea broth on the first infusion. Yeah. And yet there's no follow-up. Like, do you feel anything is following up? I don't feel. But there is a kind of like a pretty feeling about the whole experience. This whole thing is new to me with this tea because normally it's like, you know, like, dong ding. Very like medicinal, you said that medicinal taste. This one is sweet. Today it's sweet somehow. So I think my brain is like right now try to register what's happening with this tea right now. But let's get back to that question. How about you, Noah? Do you think it open?
Yeah. Usually with rolled oolongs, the first infusion is a lot lighter than the second infusion. If you just brew it going in cold, not necessarily with a cold pot, but not doing what she's probably going to do later, which is kind of almost roasting the tea right before you brew it. Okay. If you just go straight in and heat up the pot and then pour hot water on the tea, it's going to be much lighter. But the fragrance was open.
So let's start. So the fragrance for me is open because it entered the nostril, it go into my head. I cannot see what's not opening about the scent structure.
It's a lot easier to describe when you have a cup of tea that's not open right next to it.
You know? But the thing is, it enters though. So the tea has the power of entering, but it's not doing much in my head. I don't know if you have the experience of the scent. It's actually changing the shape or moving further.
That's my next. That's my next goal.
That's a very honest answer. That's excellent. But you can feel the scent go into your head, right? So just watch that also. That's why I like to work with you. You are curious. You are curious, and that's very important, I think, for me as a person to share tea with people, because I am also very I'm not saying I'm a fantastic curious person, but I think we should put in a little bit like why and how and you know, etc., etc.
It's actually really good. It's not like incredibly big or incredibly rich or something, but it's definitely clear. The tea's clear.
Yeah, clear and gentle somehow, because I don't know why. Actually, I didn't warm up the pot. I always warm up the pot before I brew a tea, and I didn't do that, and it kind of just feel. I would say the tea is quiet right now. Yeah. I think if I want to say my only complaint with this method right now is it doesn't move enough for me. Even in the mouth, there's not a lot of changes. It's just like very kind of nice, gentle, and smooth. And then when it enters the body, it's also very gentle, but almost no following up. Because me as a tea drinker, when tea has the capacity to follow up means aftertaste. Okay. Yeah. Like tea have aftertaste, not just on the taste, on the bouquet. Tea has like salivation and kind of feeling waves coming back at you, and also in the body you feel like, ooh, there's like that day I brewed the sun solstice tea, and you just like, I'm so hot. Yeah. You feel the heat. There's a form of following up. Like after you swallow the tea, there's something continue to happen. And if I want to say, do I taste a lot of this tea right now? Not a lot of presence, just a little bit. on the presence right now. Yeah.
Yeah, that second brew kind of made a more lasting impression kind of in here, which is nice.
Because it continued to open up. There's more and more heat, and the leaf itself open up. But not a lot of big turning and that dramatic thing that I'm looking for.
Yeah, that kind of maybe is what I was describing about my experience on Wednesday with the charcoal dongding, was that it was sort of like, it just like kept, like, I wasn't even drinking it anymore, and it just kept like going, you know. I don't know how to describe it better than just saying it was like, it kept going, you know, like there was more, like more movement, or more like, whoa, now I'm getting more aftertaste, you know, kind of different, you know, kind of fruitiness and all this stuff that was like, I kind of felt like I was like watching a movie or something, where like, because there was so much like that was continuing to go on the whole time I was drinking it. It was cool.
That's an awesome description. You know, just like watching a movie, there's just more going on that want you to experience more of the tea after you are done with it. But are you really done? The tea said, I'm not done. Are you done?
Right. Yeah,
but right now with this tea, I don't feel like I'm like watching a movie, or are we having a conversation like, are you done and am I done? It's just like very pleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's do the third pouring, and then we'll switch to this other method. I'm going to warm up the tea a little bit.
There's tea in there?
There's tea in there.
Okay.
I have a tea brewing teacher. He say HT is like, it's like a demanding princess. You got to really take care of it for it to even show up. Another thing he say about especially HT, or I would say also pour then, because those teas got stored away for, I mean, this specific Dongting tea is from 1998. The tea might be asleep right now. And so we need to wake the tea up before we brew it. And he used a cooking analogy of green onion pancakes. He said, when you go out to buy green onion pancakes in the morning, don't buy the first few pieces. The pan is not all the way hot yet. Or the person, maybe also the owner, just get out of the bed, not 100% waken up yet. So the green onion pancake will be sleeping too. So he said with tea, you need to find a way to open it before you brew it. And I've been finding that a very intriguing concept, you know, because before I was like, you know, what? Put some tea leaves in there, boil hot water, brew, and then serve. You know, right now I have to warm up the tea and then wake up the tea too.
Yeah, it's interesting that that you're opening. Not only are we thinking about, you know, sort of opening the tea, you're also trying to open the tea even before you start brewing it.
And I would say cooking is actually a good analogy. Because imagine you are cooking actually your own pancakes, not necessarily green onion pancake, just a pancake. And you put some butter in a pan, and it's not all the way warm up yet. The butter just like melted, and you just put a batter in there. Will it cook eventually? Yes. But will it taste good? I don't think so. It kind of, maybe you will feel like the pancake texture is, how do you describe that? Tight and close in.
And cloggy.
You know? But is it cooked? Eventually it will be cooked.
Yeah.
But if you let the butter melt and then let everything warm up and enough heat, and you pour the batter in, and then will it be cooked? Yes. Will it be fluffy? Yes. Will it taste better? Yes. But all the they say sweetness or the whatever taste that you are supposed to taste is all there. Just the texture is different, you know. And I'll say tea sometimes might be also that way.
Yeah.
Will it be brewed? Yes. Just put in some time to it. Will it taste open? Not necessary. You know.
Let's see.
Sounds like I'm a cooking expert in pancake.
Yeah.
I don't cook pancake.
All this food talk.
Oh, what happened is actually smell this, and then I'll let you smell more after I get more and more into it.
Ooh. Wow. Smells great.
I'm good.
Oh, yeah, I was noticing that's a long time to do that. So I'm
This is not
excited to see.
even long enough.
Okay.
Especially with
Cool.
HT. Yeah. HT really needs a long time to wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried this before.
So go into it again. Smell. There's moisture. There's dampness in the tea. And maybe because also the method that I have no other method right now. I'm using a wet heat to try to.
You smell?
Do you
Sure.
smell
Just
temperature?
don't even think about what you're supposed to be smelling. Just smell it and then smell it again later.
Yeah.
Okay, smell
Yeah.
it again later.
Yeah. I'm
Because it's
going
gonna
to-
be a while before
Okay.
It's
we're
gonna
done
be a
opening
while
it.
actually.
Okay, you're gonna keep going with
Oh
that?
yeah. This
Okay.
is not even enough.
So I think what's so interesting about your question isn't how do I open a tea? Your question is what does it taste like when a tea is open, right? Like
Right.
what are we talking about when we're talking about a tea is open?
Yeah.
And you said, what do I feel about the first cup of tea?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's really hard to describe it in words. It's the kind of thing you really, over time, you develop experience of what it smells like when it's basically, in a way, at its highest potential. And whatever
Yeah.
that is. Because a tea is
Yeah.
like a person. You might... The person can have many different faces, right? Depending on what's going on in their life. But if they're at their highest potential, that can be good no matter what it is. That's why I was talking about it could be bitter or it could be sweet. It could be smooth or it could be rough. But if it's open, then it's that's awesome. But it can taste really different, right? Because it's a living thing.
Yeah. Well, and that kind of also reminds me of of when I was trying out your with the traditional dongding, the like trying to just like fill the pot, with like tons of way more
Really
leaves than I
strong.
was comfortable with, like to the point where the pot wouldn't even close, and that did kind of maybe is what you're describing, where it was like I felt like it was super bitter, and it's like, oh my god, like woo,
Almost aggressive, right?
Yeah,
It's like challenging.
But there was more. There was just like more,
Yeah.
of it
Yeah.
than I was used to, because that's the tea that I drink every day mostly. And it felt like that was giving me more than I had gotten from it, in a long time. Maybe since I'm not even sure when. but,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's. So maybe it's that. Maybe we're on to something here.
Yeah, totally. And
Maybe
and
I
I
am.
will say today, this first attempt to brew this 1998 Dongding, I will not say the tea locked down, shut down at all.
See, that's what would be good to show you is if we could make the tea totally
shut down.
we call it
Okay.
bound up.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of
Yeah.
open, right? When everything is kind of closed off.
Yeah. So the tea is in a way semi open but not locked in. But I would say the tea is still asleep. It's just everything about it is like very gentle, and there's not seriously not a lot of after I drink it, there's not a lot of movement, not a lot of things happening. And is it a bad cup of tea? No, I really honestly can't say it that way. But is it an amazing cup of tea? Also no, because this tea can give more. You feel that
Yeah.
before. You feel that before. And this is the glimpse that I'm talking about. When a tea has a certain amount of potential, why are we letting it just kind of stay gentle and pretty. I'm not saying that to make it bitter and aggressive, but I think the thing is a good tea can give more. And obviously there's something to do with how a tea brewer can work with that. Can we shine that part of the tea or not? You know? Oh, and now smell this. Don't, maybe the body is hot. Now it's dry heat. Just smell the difference in the feeling, I don't know. Like one is drier. So I'm drying out some moisture to let it wake up.
Oh, it smells so good.
So
Do you smell a difference between the last time you smelled it
yeah.
and now?
Maybe a little bit.
Just keep noticing. Give it some time because you probably...
Yeah.
Can I smell?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably
Really
going to
good.
keep going on it a while longer, right? So you can start to see how it changes. Basically, what you're doing with this method, I didn't realize it until I started roasting tea myself, but you're basically roasting a small amount of tea until it's ready.
Yeah.
So with tea roasting is not only... Yeah, I'm talking about tea roasting again.
Yeah, I know.
Tea roasting is not only changing the flavor of the tea to make something darker or more robust, or it's also, you can use it as a way to kind of wake up a tea right before you sell it, right before you put it in a bag so the customer can have it. And
I think right now will be a good example. I didn't wake it up enough. Let's see
yeah.
the result.
okay, yeah, there
Let's
you
see
go.
the
Oh, okay,
result.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
So basically, what you're
Great.
doing right now is just waking it up with heat the same way a roaster would.
And this is not as long as you
Not as long as you
Not
could.
as
to.
long,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're gonna
no.
brew it. Yeah.
And I'm still learning it. I'm still learning it. I think it's a
It's a hard technique.
it's a method that is challenging my patience. I don't have patience when it comes to tea brewing and
Right.
tea tasting. I was just do it fast.
Yeah, because that was at least, that must have been at least 20 minutes that you were roasting it, and still to have that not be enough. It is a long time.
Well, the heat is not ideal.
Right.
Yeah, it's not. It's actually just gently kind of warm in my hands, but not warm enough. It haven't with that kind of a scent smell, and the heat. I don't think it drive into the inside of the tea leaves yet. Just a little bit, but I think you are gonna notice a difference actually, since I actually heat it up a little bit.
There's a smell in there. I don't know if you remember it in your snapshot right now. It kind of smells like cranberries. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I think so.
We don't want that to be there.
Oh, we don't want that. I'm like, yeah, there's a nice little fruitiness. Maybe it was cranberry.
Anti-cranberries.
Yeah, we don't want that because we don't like them.
So there's a thing in aged tea, any tea that's been sitting around for a while, when the moisture gets a little bit stale inside, it can produce a kind of sharpness. And when you start to roast it, that kind of lights it up, and it starts to push it out. But if you don't push it out all the way, it'll stick in the broth. So
Wow.
Yeah, let's do it this way then.
Cool.
But now I'm gonna warm it up even more, longer time since we are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wait for too long to
I'll
do
do a
this.
third.
This is the
Do a
third
third
one
one.
here.
Nice.
Yeah. So we'll get pretty high with just aged
All right.
dongding today. So this is the second try.
Please be bound
Round
up.
two.
Please be bound up. Just
Please be bad.
cooperate.
Please be
yeah,
bad.
exactly.
That's such a weird wish.
Just this once though.
Yeah, just this one.
Not consistently.
Yeah, I did have another interesting exercise that Noah told me to do a while ago, where I was purposefully trying to be brew it kind of goofily, or it's sort of like I was like purposefully not trying to be focused to see if it would have an effect on the tea. It actually went better than
It was better than
it was better,
usual.
I think, because I think I was sort of like,
happy.
yeah, I was relaxed, right? Like I was less like I better like make sure my technique is good, and I better make sure I'm practicing. You know, it was
tight.
It was more like I was just like relaxed, and I was just kind of having fun with it, and like, oh, what'll happen if I brew it from really high, or like all sorts of stuff.
So notice the change. It's weird.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I feel that one a lot more up this way than I did the last one, actually.
And the smell totally changed. The smell itself, it's like before you were smelling more like sweet vanilla, and now it's like it's fruity. It's dry fruit, and bigger, thicker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Definitely feeling it here.
More stuff is happening. Not sure if it's some part of it's bound up or not. Maybe in the sense I sense a little bit more, even though it still becoming bigger in this trying, but there will be a stopping point and then you push through. But in the mouth, for sure, it's opening up a little bit more. Not just because I brew it heavier or something. The leaves actually haven't opened up all the way yet.
Okay.
From my last try, and somehow the broth become thicker.
Yeah.
And there's more salivation in already on the first infusion than all the 3 infusions put together. And you say you can feel a little bit more in the body. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really smooth. Like just smooth. Thicker.
So maybe go in this again. Moisture. There's a lot of moisture in this kind of opening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Can you feel that?
Yeah, a little bit more, yeah.
Good.
Cool. Anytime you guys say that your brewing is not quite as good, I'm just like, this is still so much better than when I brew at home. So I always get excited to come in here.
Come back again.
We're
going to make you famous in the podcast.
Yeah, you guys will drink it and be like, and I'm like, this is really good to me. Like the texture on that last one was just like bigger than even when I don't really remember, but it's much bigger than what I could have gotten out of it, a year and a half ago when I drank it.
What do you notice between the first brew and then now this brew?
I mean, I always use the word impression, but like it was just felt like the first one was maybe a little bit like, at least in the mouth, is a little bit more kind of almost weaker, maybe, or like just lighter. And then this one was like soft but kind of big and just like round, and it kind of lingered nicely, which is cool.
Opens up. So this is one way of when I talk about tea. But one time out there you experience bound up. Today the tea decided not to bound up. Thank you. I'm not complaining, because when the tea is bound up, it's brutal. sensation actually. Today the tea is not necessarily bound up, but you actually make a wonderful observation. The first one, even with your physical movement, you are like doing this. And then there's this one, you were doing like maybe more like this. So this is a way of opening too. It puff. Yeah, it become a little bit more dimensional.
Yeah, those are the right words for it. Better than.
But it's not necessarily like wow, strong and so rough, right? It's you actually use the word soft, but it's round. And there's sometimes there's a very key thing I'm looking for in the mouth is like, sure, some teas are really wonderfully just like big and rough and satisfying, but sometimes tea can be also like soft and open and round, you know? Yeah.
Are you surprised by that in this tea?
By what?
The softness of it right now, or the?
Yeah, a little bit actually. Today the tea decide to go soft, and I'm surprised by the tea because I just like you. I remember this tea big, you know. And then so far, second trying on brewing this tea. It's still not like super crazy. And maybe the tea is turning that way because as I say to you, I haven't tried this tea for a long time, maybe as long as you. You know, at that time we send you some because we keep it in the shop, and I thought, well, that's a good tea for you to maybe experience the body movement. And then we started to take some tea home, just to age it at home. And since I don't have it here, then I don't get to drink it. So I haven't drank it probably as long as you did. And then last Monday, I thought, well, I should try it, but it's a little bit unfair. I tried in a charcoal fire.
Oh.
I opened it with charcoal fire for a long time, and it was a very interesting experience. And I need to do that again and see if we can do a podcast recording on that method here. Maybe we'll really pass out by the end of the with whatever carbon dioxide or whatever you guys are
right, because there's
about.
no windows in here. Yeah. How was it different? How was it different last week than this week in terms of
big? It was
much bigger?
Do you call it big? It's kind of like like almost there's a emptiness experience to me, and just go yeah. Oh, smell this one, so different now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm really just the whole mouth is just nice right now.
A little bit bigger, huh?
Yeah, it's really big in the mouth. That's kind of where my focus is going right now. It's just nice. Yeah, just all around here it feels good right now.
Good.
Just soft and big and soft. Feeling a little bit of heat this time too, maybe.
Oh,
actually.
hard to do multiple tasting. Brewing tea and warm up tea at the same time.
How's this one doing for you, Noah?
This
What's
one?
it doing for you, yeah.
So comparing it with the first one, that one felt kind of like actually really pleasant, but like there's a film over it.
This one?
The first one, the first time you brew the tea.
Ah.
And this one's kind of like if someone goes to take a shower and then you pull them out halfway in between when they're not quite done yet. So they're like,
it's kind of dirty.
they're kind of well, they're kind of like it's kind of like it's starting to feel pretty good, but it's not it's like discombobulated a little bit. There's a feeling a little bit like tightness that started to show up in this brew that the first one didn't have. So I felt the first one didn't actually have a tight feeling or a bound up feeling at all. But it wasn't open.
It wasn't open.
It was not. It was like kind of like if you brew tea with too cold of water. So it's not.
It's not unpleasant.
Yeah, it's not unpleasant.
It smells good. It tastes good. But and it's smooth enough, and then there's nothing happening.
Yeah, that's okay. That's the other thing. Yeah, is that.
But what was interesting for me is the scent actually opened pretty well with that one.
That one was very
surprising.
Yeah, surprising for me. That
And I thought the scent was
open.
Actually because it wasn't tight like the second one was. I found it to be better than the second one, where the scent had this more ability to move in, but more of like a crunchy feeling around the eyebrows. It almost felt like uncomfortable. And I'm comparing it to when we drank the tea with charcoal last week.
Yeah.
That one was like you said, empty.
Yeah, it's weird, empty and yet full. I was so intrigued by that.
Last week or this one?
When we were brewing it with charcoal, she just opened the tea very, very completely, and it felt very not. There's no obstacles. So like what you said, the tea like starts and then like there's a place where it has to stop for a minute and then it can push through.
And then it push through. It is bigger. I would say physically it's bigger. But the first one, since there's no optical, it kind of flow, but no following stuff. This one start to have a little bit more following sensation, but you can see where also it can be stuck because I didn't open it up all the way. It's like halfway, you know. I kind of cook the meal halfway right now.
Yeah, it's like you cook food halfway and then you put it on the plate, so there's like a little bit of rawness in the middle of the broccoli, or like like the steak is a little bit too like there's like some goo on the outside of it, like it's not very crispy on the outside, you know.
I just drank it out of this cup now. I'm like, my brain is.
I've done that already too.
You're just super multitasking.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
As I try to smell, opening the tea, listening to you talk.
Okay, so maybe I kind of know what you're talking about with the shower thing in terms of, you know, kind of I'm really focused here and I'm excited about here.
Yeah.
But I'm not kind of like.
But actually, drink this one.
Okay.
Now it's because it's third infusion. It's actually, it have to open up further because of the brewing. That's more in the belly.
It's doing a little bit what I just described. Because last week that tea we drank was like, I drank it and I was just like, you know, there was like, it was radiating
heat.
like,
huh?
yeah.
Oh, stop, whatever. Sprinkles.
Yeah, it was, you're right.
That tea can radiate sprinkles. I call it the sun sprinkles.
Oh yeah, this one is doing it for me. This one.
A little bit, huh?
It flows a little bit better.
Yeah. And what happened is also tea in the same part of tea, it will slowly open up too because you keep brewing it, right? You keep putting hot water into it. The leaves keep opening up. So this is the third infusion. It opens up further and further. But you can see the first and second, there's a bigness and there's a tightness in the tea because I didn't open up beforehand. But by the third infusion, you kind of can predict, what if I open it up completely from the beginning? Wow.
Yeah, this one is good. This one is good. This
More
one is
complete.
really lasting for me, like all over.
And also more complete. Yeah. The moment you start to swallow tea. Yeah.
Right. That was the thing on Monday when I had the dongding for the first time. I felt like there was two separate things going on that were not connected. There was something kind of in the mouth, which was okay, but maybe not like, what it was on Wednesday. And then separately, there was something kind of going on in here, but it wasn't like, it wasn't all like one thing. And it was great for me to have just had tea with you guys here, the day before, so that I could go back to that feeling of like, as soon as I took a sip in here, it was like everything was happening at the same time. Everything kind of felt like kind of harmonious.
Oh,
to me
thank
at
you.
least. Whereas I know you guys are like, no, this isn't.
No,
It was
it's
good.
good.
It was
It
good.
was good. It was like,
Yeah, it was good.
oh, the
Yeah.
tea want to show up for John. Good,
Yeah.
good.
Good. I'll come in more often.
So maybe third one, let's see if things will happen even more.
Can I smell the
Oh, this is
roasted version?
Yes.
a
Hot.
great tea.
Feels good, huh?
Yeah.
Feels really comfortable. Even if we don't open it completely, it still take care of us. Thank
You smell it?
So you both felt like that last one still wasn't quite open
Oh, not
completely.
yet. Not even close.
It takes a long time, and it's really hard to do on this kind of burner.
Yeah.
It's a technique that takes a special kind of fire if you want to do it well.
Okay, so let's bring a little bit integration into the tea, and I'm going to open it one more time from here.
Do you think this would be good for me to try with the charcoal dongding? The putting it over.
I mean,
the
totally play
kettle?
with it. Yeah.
Totally play. Play with your tea brain.
And I actually don't do this. I almost never do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just open it with
Just heat up the pot.
heat up the pot.
Yeah, I don't heat the pot over any kind of fire usually. I just go straight in, like heat the pot with hot water.
And then
Okay.
Pour it
use
out.
a strong string to open the
Yeah.
tea,
Mm.
which
You just-
actually the tea will become actually pretty.
You can open it pretty well that
Yeah,
way. Yeah.
yeah.
But it's not going to be as what's the word you always use? Jingcai. What's the word in English?
Look
Brilliant.
at my yellow face. Sorry. Jincai. Yeah, brilliant. So with this method, it's actually with what he's doing, he can open tea up actually more easily, and you can get a really satisfying cup of tea. And with this kind of method, that what I'm trying to do, it's actually a lot of times, it's just like the second try-in when it's halfway, the tea can feel, pretty yummy, but not satisfying. However, when you do it correctly someday, somehow you figure out how to do it, the tea will show almost like you go to listen to a music, go, yeah, oh my God, yeah, yes. Sorry. Like that. And then there's so many twists and turns rather than like, wow, this is that his method, I would say, dang, this is thumbs up, really good. And then the other way, this way, you will have more like small things that it's like seriously just like moving all over the place. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But also higher chance to fail.
Yeah. Doing this.
Yeah, higher chance to fail.
And is that
Like
because
if
you
are
might...
doing it halfway, it's like the tea is like, what's the deal? Why don't you finish me up? Like open me up 100%, you know? And I'm actually still learning. I'm still learning, like try to use smelling and then trying and drink it to try to identify them. What is open? Did I open the tea completely before I even brew it or not? Yeah. And we should bring the aged Tie Guan Yin. That tea
cool.
can bound up pretty badly.
Yeah. Yeah.
More than this one. That tea is hard to open. Yeah, we should do that one and let you try what it means by a tea
Bound up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not pleasant. Anything your body bound out in the morning, just like, oh god.
Right.
Like when your muscles are tight.
Yeah. You wake up in the morning, you step in the wrong way. It's just like doesn't feel good. Emotionally bound out too. I'm in a bad mood.
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of
You just
feeling.
can't get out of it. It's like, I don't want to be in a bad mood anymore, but I don't know how to.
You don't know how to
Get
out of it. That's emotionally bound up. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that was interesting last time I came in too, where I felt like when we started, I felt like I was a little bit, like bound up, I guess, coming in here. I don't know if, we all maybe felt that, but kind of sitting down, I felt like at first I was a little bit like, oh, what are we, kind of spaced out, or I don't know what it was, but, as the tea was opening, I felt like I was kind of opening too, and like kind of starting to, feel like myself, or like feel like the energy was good.
That's the power of good tea, man.
Tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can kind of give that to you a little bit.
I think that's why I'm so obsessed with tea. I think it can physically, is something moving? It can physically make you feel better. Like loosen up your body and that kind of stuff. And sometimes when you are ready or when the condition's ready, it can move you emotionally too.
Yeah, it can touch you in a way that you don't even know it's doing it.
Yeah. And so someday when the tea touch you in your heart, you will know the feeling. But we can't force that to happen, Yeah. But I will say, sometimes tea does, you show up those like rare, wonderful, precious moments. It does touch your heart. Yeah. And then you might cry though. Just to warm up your cup too.
So this is the full. Do you feel like you've put that one over the fire?
But I think a little bit more than the second try. It's not full because that day I used charcoal to do it for a long time. Do you want this or no?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do it without charcoal, especially with an aged oolong that has so much moisture inside.
We are
like a
trying to
charcoal
get
stove.
we are trying to get a tiny small one on the table.
Cool.
Just because the one that we try is a brazier and it's like this big, and so there's some sort of a tabletop one. And it's really nice looking, and you can just use a small pieces of charcoal to do that too. I totally want to get one of those right now.
Cool. And it's way different when you heat the water that way.
When you use charcoal, there's a different like when you feel the radiation from charcoal is totally different from heat this.
And
Wow.
and really, even with infrared heater like that, it's I think it's possible. It's just the
It's
fact
like
that it's
really
if it's centered,
Yeah.
Like you see that one is
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
a big open space.
You can actually.
You have the same one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
But it's the heat can go everywhere, right? You can't if you have just a small little teapot like that, the heat's not centered at all.
Right.
So when we use a brazier, we're using a kettle on the top of it, and then there's like a little space between the edge of the brazier and the kettle where you can fit the teapot.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of
Okay.
like centering the heat right
Yeah.
onto the bottom of the teapot.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of it has to do with actually the thermodynamics.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, charcoal, the radiation feeling of charcoal is different than the radiant heat of infrared or gas or anything else.
Yeah. And is this stuff that you're incorporating in your charcoal roasting too? This sort of like the centering of the heat?
I mean, yeah, that's very important for, yeah, totally, for charcoal roasting as well.
Looking good.
You can already tell.
I hope it's looking good and feel good.
You look at the color.
Yeah, the color is different.
Yeah, but even the scent, the feeling of the scent.
Yeah, I can. Oh.
Oh, yeah. The feeling of the scent is maybe let you say it first before I put it into your the placebo.
Right.
I'm also too excited. I always tell how I feel.
Yeah, it's nice. It's still just like, for me, it's going up nicely, really nicely, which I don't think I got it all on the first one, actually. Now that I compare it to this
Three.
one. Oh, yeah.
Here you go.
Even the empty cup is
Yep.
nice.
In this cup, the scent is reaching out the way that a plant grows.
Not stopping now.
Yeah.
And thicker.
Mm.
Yeah. And then, so when it can do that, now the broth has not stopping either. It just boom, boom.
Oh, yeah.
In.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes tea stop. And tea stop and you kind of like, okay, I'm pushing it down, This then have no stopping point now.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. It is really clear.
It's comfortable now.
Oh, my
It's
gosh.
comfortable.
Yeah. This is the one, right?
And you know why I'm so excited, right? If you can, so first brew, not bad. Second brew, not bad. But you can slowly see third brew that I try to call out that whatever, like 精彩, something is more showing up. But is it like bigger and thicker and bitter? No, no. It's the movement. It's connected now from the scent to everything. It's one whole thing now, and now it's like there's a weird feeling.
Yeah, I can feel like energy. Like, I mean, I can feel this one going up. Like, I felt the last one going a little bit kind of down, but this one's sort of like radiating,
Here you
like
go.
all here and even up into
Here
my
you
head.
go. Here you go.
So the tea can do
hopefully I don't
that.
pass out.
Please don't.
Like the tea can do this. Tea can do that, right? That's really cool.
It's the same tea. We just
Right.
brew it 3 times. And so, do you want to enjoy the first part of tea, or second part of tea, or
Right.
third part of tea, and possibly the fifth part of tea when we do charcoal to brew this tea? Yeah, it might be jumping of joy.
Yeah. Still feel it, like a electricity or something.
But the first trying, we don't feel not too pleasant. But this one now, you continue to feel that, yeah.
And I think it's great, the comparison too. Like, the comparison has always been super important for me, because it's like, you know, I drank the first one and I was like, yeah, no, this is good. Like, this must be really good. But, you know, you can't tell until you've until you have that cup where it's like, okay, yes,
Now
that
it's
is the one that
really
we were looking
good.
for.
Yeah.
And then I can go back and look at, you know, the first one and kind of see, oh yeah, okay, I get why, you know, it's super obvious that it was not doing what that last one just did. And yeah, the side by side is really, really helpful.
You can kind of also see, like, if it was bitter or if it was rough, it wouldn't really matter, right?
Right.
If it's able to move, flow smoothly like that through the body, it wouldn't really matter if it's more aggressive or
Right.
or bitter.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's if the tea is ready to come out and talk to you like that, it doesn't matter if it's saying something like in a big voice or a little voice, right?
Right.
That's right. Yeah. And I always feel like, you know, learn to taste tea and nowadays incorporate tea brewing together. Work on both. Like I'm working on both to taste more and to brew more. It's very important to me because if I went to, you know, buy the tea and the tea decided just to let that to show like maybe like the first try-in, will I buy that tea? I am actually not sure. I mean, it is a pleasant tea, but will I buy it? You know, then is the tea not good enough, or because we can go in there and taste it, or is it the brewer too? And obviously, a tea brewer can really destroy a pretty damn good tea sometimes. I did it sometimes, you know.
Right.
Like I would take a sip and I just like, oh my God, wow. Not sure if anybody want to buy this if that moment somebody is tasting the tea with me, you know. And so there's like that many pieces of things that I'm working as a tea person, really have to taste tea and get better and better at it. And looks like, well, with tea brewing, if you work on it, there's more stuff showing up too, you know. And I would say still the most important thing is learn to taste tea. Then you, even if you just like, well, tea is not, I'm not doing tea for business. I'm just a tea drinker. But for you as a tea drinker, then when you can get so much joy out of it too, I mean, why not? You spend so much money, might as well get so much joy out of the tea, right? And for Noah, it's exceptionally important since he's going to learn to roast tea. He need to taste the tea. You got to have good material to be able to make it even better, you know? So.
And that's kind of why I phrased the question the way I did to start, you know, what is open, you know, rather than like, how do I open a tea, is because, you know, like, I don't know what I would work on if I don't even know what it means, you know, like, so I feel like the first step for me is just to figure out, you know, what the heck do you guys mean by half this stuff, you know? First with the, you know, for me, when I first had the throat feeling, you know, it was kind of like, okay, well, now I understand that part, and so now I can try to think about it. Just gives me a little bit more to practice, you know, so I can start messing around with techniques and see if it comes out a little bit more if I do things a certain way. So yeah, it's like, you know, I wouldn't know what to practice if I don't know what I'm kind of striving for, as far as like, you know, getting that cup of tea that's like, that is the one, you know. And I hadn't had it, you know, I had it actually last week too with the dongding, so I've had a good tea week, because I had the one on Saturday and then I had it on Wednesday by myself, and now I'm having it again. So good.
And that's why I think when you were just last week was here talking to us about tea and how to even like incorporate practice, that what to look for and etc. And my recommendation to you is you I mean, now it's difficult, but you got to drink tea with people.
Yeah.
Not with oneself, yes, and then drink tea with people. Then it will. Sometimes the person or the friends, the family can open up a different view to you. See, there's a flow.
I feel like all the things that I was getting bits and pieces of before are like all there now.
Oh, good.
And even between steeps, you're continuing to put it on the heat, which is cool.
Yeah, and there are different ways to do this. Maybe we can incorporate if you want to come back. I think it's very fun to do a podcast with you in a video form, because you are a tea drinker and you have wonderful questions, because you observe what we say and you are looking to get answers and you become curious. And me, you watch me doing this, then what is this for then? Am I opening up the tea or not? And why am I doing this? To keep the pot back in the heat a little bit. Actually, in between infusions, heat is still very essentially important. If not, it will reduce too much temperature that it will impact the next brewing. So there are multiple ways we can do this. One is, since it's a podcast, so we are talking. So in between infusions, we are leaving a huge gap. So the temperature did drop a bit too much for my liking. So I pop it back on. Another way to do it is I control the speed in between infusions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a little bit that temperature thing that I like, I will not leave it as much gap. You can use it that way as well. Yeah.
A little faster in between.
That little faster.
brews.
And then there's an art. There's an art to do that. Because if I do it, I'll be like, John, drink it up. Give me the cup back.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Then you as a tea drinker is like, God, this tea tasting is totally not relaxed. She's just hurrying me up. We have a different teacher. He is so good at that. It's actually quite beautiful to be in the middle of it and you don't feel like you are rushed, and you drink like, I don't know, 7 different teas within 2 hours. I know, crazy, huh? But with this
That would knock me
teacher,
out.
he does a different method like this, because he loves to talk. He likes to open tea, and opening tea is like 20 minutes. So what do? You keep talking, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Chit chat and stuff.
He's also not selling tea.
Yeah,
That's the other difference. Is it's like he's performing.
he's performing tea.
So
yeah, he said he's a tea musician.
There's a different focus.
Yeah.
It's to make the tea taste as good as possible.
Yes.
And then the other one is actually a tea roaster, so he wants to brew you a lot of different teas, so you can see his his inventory, like what he's got going on, his portfolio.
Yeah.
So if you do it that way, you have to brew fast. It's not a big deal because you want to brew fast anyway.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
get through a lot of teas.
But he's so graceful. You just don't feel like you will rush. We actually went into take tea brewing classes with this specific teacher. Like he can actually speed up things, but you don't feel that at all. But when we do the practice,
Because we have to brew tea too in the class. It's a class,
It's
so
a
it's like,
class.
okay, now it's your turn. You get behind the counter and start.
and then start brewing tea, and I was like, the first 1 hour, I was like cursing the whole time. In my I hate this. Oh my God. What kind of tea enjoyment is this? Everything is so hurry.
Oh. Okay. Oh yeah.
Because you start and then he's like, okay, pour it out now.
Pour it out. And
Okay,
then-
now
Oh,
put
we
the-
told you when to pour it out.
totally. Yeah.
Because we're waiting way too long.
Yeah, we are
Yeah.
we are like just waiting, we are too slow. And then
So he's just like giving us reminders, like, hey, now it's time for this. Now it's time for this.
And I was
you,
like, what?
you feel really rushed. Yeah.
and when I get rushed, I'm just like super like agitated.
Yeah.
So my mind was like, I was totally not calm at all, but I fake it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was gonna just fake it and just like.
Can you tell if you faked it?
Oh, he totally can. I mean, the thing is, when we walk in here, he was just like, Miss Tai, sit down, brew the tea. You're the first one. I said, okay. And he just give me a tea and I start brewing. And I felt so bad. He took a sip just like this, barely tasted it, and he threw it away.
No.
And he said, this is what you can do?
Oh.
And you own a tea business? And I just felt destroyed.
Brutal.
Like my
Jeez.
ego was just totally like put on the floor and just step on. He just stepped on my ego.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second try more like I was totally rushed, but I can perform it. You know, I gain my ground and I can perform it. But the thing is in the back of my head, I said I totally hated this place. And then the third try is okay, my ego is coming back up again. I was a freaking good student in a classroom. You want me to do this? I follow and repeat. I'll show you how I could do this. And I was just like moving it through pretty okay. But he can sense I was probably like super despised though.
Yeah.
But I learned something out of it. You know, later we went in to drink tea with him, and I no matter how, you know, how much ego and how in a hurry, like lacking patience of person, I still watch and observe and try to learn. And it's just the way he can move through things.
The fact that he brewed us 7 teas within 2 hours and it didn't feel like overkill.
It didn't feel like that.
Yeah, that's
just
that's
like,
amazing.
hey,
Yeah.
people, hurry
Right.
up. Let's drink this fast, you know, and then like
But it actually felt really good.
it
felt like calm.
really
Yeah.
good. And that's what he could do is I was not jittery.
Yeah.
And they're all
yeah.
potent teas like charcoal roasted tea 100%.
Yeah.
And I just felt really good.
I felt that the time I was in here with just you, Shiuwen, and we drank that pour, I was like, you know, I think we started in the afternoon and we had already had 2 teas that were really like strong, and then you were like, okay, now we're gonna do this pour.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, here we go. I thought it was gonna, you know, kind of like push me over the edge in some way, but when I left, I was like, wow, I feel really good right now.
Good,
Like,
right?
not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think a tea brewer not to like try to control tea energy or that sort of stuff, but try to contain the whole overall flow and energy. And there is such a thing that I observed that a lot of really mastery levels of tea teachers, they do it so beautifully in their own ways. I mean, they have different temperaments, but they really get to control a tea session without you feeling they are controlling the tea session. Their presence, everything, the tea flow, everything is just beauty. The flow is so good. It's just, I love it. And I want to be part of that thing. I want to be able to do that for people someday. I'm still very,
Yeah.
I'm very, yeah, you should look at those teachers. They're very calm.
Yeah.
I'm not. You should come in to observe my tea practice with him in the morning. He'll be like, hey Noah, do you know that yesterday that movie, it was so strange. And then he was like, hey Noah. And I just like,
Oh man.
I just say something and it's out of my mind. It's in
Yeah.
my head. I just
Right.
hey, la, la, la. third brew.
Third brew.
I mean, third infusion, third brew. And we'll just do this session with one tea.
Yeah, that's great.
The first time.
That's great. Yeah.
It's an interesting tea. The sweetness lasted throughout all three
Yeah.
versions.
Yeah.
And I actually tasted it also when we drank it on Monday with the charcoal fire. But I don't remember that from before. This is like a new development for this tea.
Yeah.
Me neither. Yeah, I didn't remember that either.
It's
Yeah.
really
And
sweet.
maybe it's changing into this form at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tea does go through changes. Yeah. Especially with like this long gap that between drinking, like at least a year, I recall.
Right.
And it just it's a kind of a different new 1998 something.
Yeah. It's almost as old as me.
Yeah. Oh. God, you guys are so young. Gross.
Color is beautiful.
The tea?
Yeah.
Liquid?
Yeah, really deep red kind of color.
See, no opticals. Just move.
Yeah, I feel like it's just the scent is getting clearer for me every time. The last three.
And I'm not sure if this one is a kind of a small door got open for you. Is also one of the subject I like to talk about is center of a tea. See if you can feel the feeling of this tea. Finally have enough texture and space, and you can feel the center of something. It's in the middle of something, and it's very abstract. It's very abstract, and maybe today was like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out opening, Shiuwen. Don't throw me one more center thing. I'll be off center.
It's beautiful tea. It really is.
A little bit more satisfaction, I would say.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's not bitter at all. It's not super rough and super bold as I like in a Dongding, but there's a I don't know how to even describe it compared to the first try and second try, the third try, because I opened the tea. I try to open the tea further and further. There's a satisfying feeling finally in the tea.
Oh yeah.
Good session.
Yeah. That's really good. Yeah. I'm glad we got the three in, because that third one was definitely like, yeah.
Good.
Whew. Now I feel good.
Would you like to come back again?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah.
Good. I would like to have
whenever.
you come back again since, as I mentioned before, you are a tea drinker. You drink our tea for 4 years. and you come in with very wonderful questions and with a curious mind. I think it's wonderful for other tea drinkers out there to see how we work with people in a tea way too. To how to answer questions and to work in a session like this to possibly answer or not answering the question.
I feel like I have some good stuff to work on.
Oh,
now.
good. And you can bring that in again.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm, especially with that third round, I feel like or in general, I feel like I have a better sense of kind of the open. I feel like we came in with the question, and I feel like a little bit like I'm getting closer to an answer. And I feel like there's some things that I'm going to try, including, heating the dry leaves up and keeping it hot, and just kind of just continuing to
play with it,
see how that goes.
And what is good about tea is sometimes my goal is not to just answering your question right away, because sometimes when, just like you said, well, I don't know what opening means, and if today you still can sense that means I can really get the answers into you, and looks like today the third infusion gets some stuff into you. Is it 100% yet? Not yet. So what I call it, the answer will be more and more clear with different layers and different degrees, and it's gonna opening up more and more for you, and you'll come back with like more exciting stuff and discoveries. And that's where I found tea extremely interesting, is it doesn't end.
Right.
Obviously it doesn't end, and it's today, this is the best moment I can brew this tea. Not yet. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Cool. Good session.
All right.
Yeah.
That was great.
Come back again.
Yeah, I will.
Good.
Of course.
And
anytime.